Hey guys, how are you? I hope everyone are having an amazing day. Okay, let's quickly jump into the workshop. Now, we don't have any prior agenda on this. This workshop is to learn the concept of how to implement an application, how to implement a WordPress application, and then how to purchase a domain, how to create a record, and we will see various troubleshooting steps. And before that, we would try to create a VPCs. And I mean, there is no prior or setup agenda. However the flow works, if something is not working, we will try to troubleshoot with various concepts and with various tools, and then we will try to get to the bottom of it, and we'll try to resolve it. So that's the whole concept of this workshop. So if you see other videos in YouTube, you would say how to set up a WordPress site for 30 minutes, and that is done. And then if you want to troubleshoot, you have to look for some troubleshooting things for another video. But this workshop, it's mainly for people who's coming from from the on-prem, and they might have worked on a couple of things on servers and other things, but they just want to understand the or have to have a hands-on few services end to end. So in this video, I have covered only one service called EC2, but I would try to explore more options in next couple of other workshops which is upcoming. But in this video, I'm gonna host a WordPress website, and before hosting, I would create a VPCs and also the database and couple of other things which would, I'm sure that you would get more knowledge and you would gain more knowledge. Yeah, so that's what that is the plan. Okay, cool. Now, I hope, and one more disclaimer, I'm not going to talk about the basics of what is EC2 or what is security group or what is VPC. The prerequisite is I hope you guys are aware of it already, and this is just a hands-on on, how to design something on AWS. Okay, cool. Now, the first thing, I've logged into AWS account and I'm in the US East North Virginia region, US East 1. Okay, cool. And this is my account IDs. You can see the account number and everything. Cool, perfect. Now I'm in the EC2 dashboard page. I don't have any EC2 instances running or created. Now, what are we going to do here is the first thing, for any AWS things, there is something called VPC. Yeah, we call it as a virtual private cloud. Now, if you click on VPC here, yeah. So this one on the top right, you would see like VPC, the service is operating normally. This region, you don't have any issues. Okay. Now, if you click on this VPC, so it will tell you that this is the default VPC ID. Okay, and the state is available, and this is a CIDR range. Okay, if you scroll right, and this is the default VPC, it shows yes. Okay, cool. Now we don't need this default VPC. We're gonna create some VPCs and then we're gonna put some public subnet, private subnet, and couple of other things. So before that, just to break the ice, what I am going to do is I'm just clicking on EC2 here. I just want to show you quickly on how to launch an instance. So everybody should be knowing this already, but still. So I'm just clicking on launch instance. Okay, just giving my tutorial. And then Amazon Linux, you can add the additional tags also. Say for example, I'm adding my tab like department. I'm just mentioning like DevOps. And then I'm mentioning like role number, and then here we can mention some numbers. So likewise, you can keep on adding tags for the instances, and then scroll down. I'm using Amazon Linux, and this is Linux 2 AMI, which is free tier, and this is in 64-bit. Okay, cool. And if you go for something else, so a couple of things you can see: free tier, but these things are all not free tier. If you scroll down, a couple of things are there. If you're looking for something specific, what you can do is you can check here also. Click on Mac OS. This is not free tier. Ubuntu, yes, it is free tier. In Windows, you have a couple of things as well. In Red Hat, it is free tier, and a couple of things are not free tier. Okay, so if you scroll right, you will get SUSE Linux, it's a free tier. Debian, confirm changes. So Debian is also a free tier. Okay, so I'm going for Amazon Linux. Now scroll down, and now here, what kind of architecture you want? x86 means it's an Intel board. ARM means it's an ARM board. So when you see Intel versus ARM, it's like a hardware manufacturer, nothing big. Okay, so you can choose anything. I'm choosing Intel 86. And then if you see this one, the name and tags are done. So I'm just unexpanding. Application and OS images are done. And instance type, I'm choosing T2.micro, which is free tier eligible. Okay, what do you mean with free tier? If you Google it, AWS free tier, let's go to the second link. Yeah, so if you scroll, okay, if you scroll here, just click on 12 months free. It will tell you that what all the services from Amazon, which is free tier for 12 months. For example, Amazon EC2, it says 750 hours. And what does it say? 750 hours per month of Linux, RHEL or SLES. So T2.micro or T3.micro. And same thing, 750 hours per month of Windows T2.micro or T3.micro. Sorry. So here if you see our screen, T2.micro, it is free tier eligible. And okay, when I say instance type is nothing but it's a combination of the memory. I mean, it's a combination of the virtual CPU and the memory. So if you see this T2.micro, it says 1 vCPU with 1 gigabyte memory. And it is free tier eligible, and you can see the pricing of the Linux and also the pricing of the Windows. Now if you scroll down, it keeps on increasing. It will go to the different family. Yeah, so you got 2 vCPU and 3.75 C3 memory. If you scroll down, so it keeps increasing, and you will get 192 gig memory, C5. So it's all for various purposes, but for this workshop we're going to cover everything in free tier. Okay, cool. Now there is something called compare instance types. If you right click, if you click on this, so it'll go here, and then in this page you can see all the instance type, which is close to 557 instance types. It will tell all the details of this. Okay, cool. Now if you go back here, launch an instance. Okay, you're back. And then we have chosen instance type as T2.micro, which is free tier eligible. So free tier eligible, if you see 750 hours. So if you go to the calculator, it will come to the 720 or 730 hours it will come. If you go here, so 24 hours per day into 31, so exactly 744 hours. So even if you keep your instance running for 24/7 per month, it will not cross 750 hours. Your Amazon EC2 will not be charged. Okay, cool. But there is other nitty-gritty on that. The EBS volume, if you see, there is something called EBS. If you search EBS here, Amazon Elastic Block Storage 30 gig is free for you. 30 gig, 12 months free. So per month 30 gig is free. 30, say any combination of general less purpose or magnetic, 1 GB of snap storage. So if in 1 month, even though if you keep your instance, EC2 instances running for 1 month, but the EBS volume which is connected to the EC2 instance is cross 30 gig, means yes, it would be chargeable from the EBS perspective. Okay, cool. So let me go back. I'm choosing instance type. Now the next one is key pair login. So just for example, when you log into a laptop, you need a username and password. I mean, that's a general typical way of logging in. Okay, you can disable the password, no problem. But here in EC2, the default concept is if you want to log into a Linux instance, you need to have a key pair login. Now, key pair login is nothing but, in a nutshell, I'm not going to go deep into this right now, but in a nutshell, what happens is key pair means there are two keys. One is a public key and the private key. Okay, now the private key will be with you, the public key will be with the Amazon instance, inside the Amazon instance. Now whenever you're trying to connect to the Linux instance, the private key will try to sync up with the public key, which is in the Amazon EC2 instance, and if the handshake matches using algorithm, then it will allow you to connect. This is in a simple term I'm talking about. Yeah, but you can always Google about this. If you go and you can search private public key pair in AWS, if you see that, yes, it will tell you a lot of tutorials are there, you know, what is public key and what is private key. You can have it, I mean, you can have a look at it, but but for now we are not gonna go for key pair. Instead we're gonna go for with some other method. Okay, or I'll do one thing, let's do this so that you guys can have an understanding about this key pair as well. Let me click on create a new key pair. I don't have any key pair actually. You can click on the burger symbol on the left side, and then if you scroll left, there is something called key pairs. So right clicking a new tab. Let me close this free cloud computing things. Okay, so this is a key pair. If you see, yes, I do not have any key pair created yet. So what I will do is I'll just click on create key pair here, and I'm going to give a, so here if you see what it says, a key pair consisting of a private key and a public key. It's a set of security credentials that you use to prove your identity when connecting to an instance. Okay, but one more thing. Yes, we have an option to disable this key pair, and you can convert into as a password. Yeah, you know, when somebody is trying to connect to the Linux instance, you can convert that convert this key pair into a password. That is possible, no problem. But for this workshop, we are not going to go to that level. No, you need to understand this concept very clearly. Cool. Now a key pair consisting of a private key and a public key. Okay, so when you're connecting to the instance, you need to supply your private key. Private means it is only with you. You should not share that private key with someone else. Now I'm going to show you something. Now here, okay, my first instance, okay, key pair, KP, key pair. Now here, key pair type, it's RSA or ED25519. So what is RSA? What is, it's an algorithm. So if you click on this, 1 minute. So if you search in Google, what is difference between RSA versus ED2, see this 25519. So I mean, you don't need to know much about this, but if you click on the first link just to have an understanding of this, yeah, I would definitely suggest you to go with this. So what is RSA, what is DSA, what is ECDSA, what is EDDSA? So it's just basically the algorithm of how this encryption is happening. Yeah, so just have a quick check on it or quick read about it. Yeah, so if you scroll up, compare SSH keys. Yeah, you can always go with what is RSA, what is RSA key. See, so RSA is a public key crypto that is widely used for security. It is also one of the oldest acronym, blah 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 blah. And okay, cool, we are not going to go deep into that. Let's click on the RSA. Now here the next one is the private key file format. So what is a private key file format? Now if you see this, we have two private keys, two formats we have. One is .pem and the other one is a ppk. Now when you say pem, this is like how can I say that? For example, I have a Windows machine, okay, and I have something called putty. So if you want to connect a Linux instance from your Windows laptop, you need to have a tool called putty, and we have many other tools like MobiXterm. We have something called MobiXterm, and then we have something called putty connection manager. I don't have that software. You can always try that as well. Putty connection manager. We have a lot of other tools. So MobiXterm is one of the beautiful tool where we can connect from the Windows machine to Amazon Linux instances, and also putty is another famous one which we do it. Now now say for example, if you're connecting, if your base machine is Windows like mine, I'm using Windows laptop. Okay, now I'm connecting from this machine using putty to the Linux instance. Then what I normally do is I'll click on this ppk, yeah, and then I'll just click on create new key pair. But for that I'll just give an indication here, putty kp. So if you click on create new key pair, what happens is, see, it's getting downloaded something here, my first instance putty ppk. So if you see this, okay, see, this file got downloaded, my first instance putty kp. Now this is your private key. Okay, cool. Now if you want to click on create key pair again and say, for example, my first instance pem kp, example, I just gave a name and I'm just keeping RSA, and if you click on pem, okay, now what do you mean by pem? Say for example, I don't have Windows machine, I have something like Linux, or I have something called Mac, I have something called Unix machines. If you have those kind of things, you don't have putty. Okay, rather you can connect it from the terminal itself. When I say terminal, say for example, we have something called PowerShell here. Yeah, yeah. So when you see PowerShell, from here you can connect to the instance by running some couple of commands like ssh-i, and then you provide the location of the pem file, and then the remote host IP. So I will show this to you. Yeah, so I'll show the difference before we start. So pem key, if you choose pem key and then RSA, I'm just downloading another key pair. So there are two key pairs I've created. One is my pem key pair and the other one is my putty key pair. Remember that. Yeah, now I'm going back to my first tab. Now if you scroll down, okay, so now if you refresh this button, it will come up, two key pairs will come. Okay, now my plan is, what I'm going to show this to you is, let me click on putty kp first. Yeah, putty kp. So my key pair is putty kp. I'm going to connect to this machine, connect to this instance which I'm about to launch using the using putty tool. Using putty tool means I'm talking about this tool, this tool. Cool. Now network settings, if you click on edit, so we have only one VPC, I'll keep it as it is, and subnet, I don't want any preference, and auto assign public IP, I'll keep it as enable, and existing security group, I don't have any security group here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new security group. So new security group is, I'm just giving like my website SG. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna click on security group rule. Okay, this is SSH TCP/22 anywhere. Okay, cool. So that's all. And then I'm not gonna want anything else. I'm gonna create only one instances, number of instances, and click on launch instance. Okay, now this one we have launched to what? 1 minute. Is it doing something? Or is it giving an error? Okay, I'm sorry, I put minus in front of it. Now if you click on launch instance, it should work. Yes, so it is launching. Cool. So successfully initiated launch of instance, and this is the instance ID. Always the instance ID starts with I hyphen couple of random alphanumerics. If you click on launch log, it will tell you succeeded, 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 succeeded. If you have any issues, it will say failed. It will not create an instance. Okay, cool. Now if you click on view all instances, now if you refresh this page, so it will tell you that my tutorial is the name which I gave and instance ID, and this is running. I'm sorry. And this is t2.micro, and this is the initializing. It will take 3 to 4 minutes to come up available, and this is launched in availability zone 1B, and this is the public IPv4 DNS, and this is the public IP, and this is okay. And then we have launch time, and this is the key pair which we are giving putty KP, and this is a security group which we have created. Okay, cool. Now we have our instance running, guys. Yeah, our instance is running, no problem with that. Yeah, our instance is running and it is still in initializing mode. Now if you click on this arrow mark here, so it will tell you the same details but with extra things like what is the instance ID, what is a public IP address, and what is a private IP address, and do we have any IPv6 address, and what is the instance state it is running, and what is a public IPv4 DNS address, and host name, private IP DNS name, and instance type, and if you scroll down, and what is a VPC ID, what is a subnet ID, and these are all the instance details like Amazon Linux, AMI ID, and AMI name. And if you scroll down a little bit, it will tell you what is the key pair name and what is the life cycle. If you say normal, it means that it is on-demand instances. And then if you scroll down, and couple of other things, who is the owner, blah blah blah, and what is the number of which virtual CPU, and what is the virtualization type, is it an HVM or is it a PV? But nowadays recently everything is coming up with HVM, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay, the HVM is like a hardware virtualization method, so that is it has a lot of good features when you compare the older method like paravirtual, but nowadays all the new generation instance types are HVM, so you don't need to worry, don't crib your head too much on that. Cool. Now this is a details one. Now if you go to security, we have okay, we don't have anything called IAM role, which we'll talk about it, and this is the owner ID, this is launch time, and this is a security group, if you remember, which we created just a couple of minutes back. Now the security group, what we are given is we have in the inbound rule, so anybody, source means this one, 0.0.0.0/0 means this is IPv4, anybody from anywhere can connect through 22 using the TCP protocol to my instance. That is what it says. And outbound means yes, anything can get connected from my instance to outside as well. So this is the security. And if you go to networking, it's the same details. It will have public IP, private IP, what's a subnet, what is a VPC, blah 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 blah. And what is the storage? It will tell you, okay, EBS, there is a storage, and this is showing the 8 gigabyte storage is been attached. Okay, and if you click on status checks, it is still initializing mode. Just refresh it. Now it says 2/2 checks passed. Now if you come here in status checks, it will say system reachability check passed, instance reachability check passed. So there are two things. System status check is nothing but it's your host, the host where your instance is launched in the Amazon data center in the particular availability zone. So that we called as a system status check. So if you see system status checks as having some issues, it means that the particular host where the instance is launched is having some issue. If the instance status checks is having some issue, it means that host is good. However, the instance what you have launched is having some issues. Maybe it's because of some configuration which you have given. Okay, so these are all the two things. Okay, now if you click on monitoring, yes, it just gives the different widgets to monitor the server to this instance, and the tags, whatever we have given initially, the tags are there. Okay, perfect. Now the instance is running. Now you guys know how to launch a quick instance. Now the first thing is, what we do is we will try to connect to the instance. So there is a connect button on the top right. So click on connect button. Wow, is it my internet? Cancel? No, my internet's fine. Click on connect. Okay, I don't know. Something is wrong. Okay, cool. Now, there are four ways of connecting an instance. Okay, so one is from the EC2 Instance Connect tab. Okay, before that, just make sure that what I've clicked, I've selected this instance, I clicked on Connect. When you click on Connect, you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 options: EC2 Instance Connect, Session Manager, SSH Client, EC2 Serial Console. Now, if you click on EC2 Instance Connect, and then if you click on Connect, just see what happens. Yep. So it is connected. Yeah. So this is one way of connecting. Remember that. Yeah. From the EC2 instance, connect. Now the next one is something called Session Manager, which we will talk about it in this workshop only. We will omit this for now. The next one is SSH client. Now the SSH client is the one which I was talking about using PuTTY and other OpenSSL tools. Now here if you click on SSH client, it will tell you that open an SSH client, which is what? Which is in this case the SSH client for me is PuTTY. This is the one. The PuTTY is the SSH client. Now locate your private key file. So where is my private key file? If you remember, my private key file is in somewhere in downloads folder. So if you see downloads, yes. So this is a PEM one and this is a PuTTY one. Okay. Now if you go back here, so what it says is locate your private key file. So my PEM private key file is this one. Because why I'm showing PEM? Because if you see this instance, the one which we launched, if you scroll down and the key pair name is what did I give? Sorry, PuTTY. Yeah, I gave PuTTY. My first instance PuTTY KP. So what I have to choose is I have to choose this one in order to connect to the instance. So what I'm going to do here is let me show you what exactly they are saying. So make sure click on connect and SSH client. So locate your private key file. The key you use to launch this instance is this one. My first instance puttykp.pem. Okay. Now it says run this command if necessary to ensure key is not publicly viewable. You have to change the permission to 400 onto this file, onto this puttykp.pem file. Okay. And then connect your instance. Now, before you go and execute these things, the easy way is the first thing, okay, the IP address. So let me get the IP address of it. From here also you can get the IP address. Click on the public IP, paste it. And the port is 22. Yeah. And then here, if you click on SSH, and there is something called auth on the left side. So it says private key file for authentication. Now click on browse. And then my first instance puttykp, this is my key pair file for this instance. Why I'm saying, I'm just telling you again. Click on cancel here. I'll show you this. Click on this. And the key pair which I've chosen for this is, if you scroll down, there is something called key pair here. Inside the key pair, my first instance puttykp, which is nothing but this one. My first instance puttykp. Right? Yeah. Now double click on it. See, it is saved. My first instance puttykp.ppk, it is saved. Just click on open. When you click on open, it will ask you the server host key is not cached in the registry. You have no guarantee that the server is a computer you think it is. And couple of things. What basically it says is, this is the first time you're trying to connect. Do you want to accept it or not? So you just click on accept. So when you click on accept, it will ask you, yes, login as. Now here, for Amazon Linux 2 instances, the default username is ec2-user. And now see, what it says is, ec2-user, I clicked on it, immediately it's authenticating with the public key. Okay, so the public key is there inside this instance, and the private key is the one which we have it here, which we gave it in the PuTTY. So that's why we are able to connect to this machine like this. Okay, now I'm just exiting it out. I'll show you again just to make sure that you guys got it. So I'm opening PuTTY. So what's a public IP? So this is a public IP. Scroll up, you'll get the public IP. Just click on this copy button and then paste it, and it should be in 22 port. And then go to SSH auth, browse, and then look for that key pair, click on open. Here we go, it will connect. And then if you type ec2-user, this is the default username, so you are connected. Now let's do one thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to putty. Okay, now I'm going to copy the public IP 22, go to SSH and go to auth and browse. And here, instead of my first instance putty KP, what I'm going to give is, let me get the another one, PEM KP. Okay, so the second key which I have downloaded. So if you double click on it, so see this, my first instance PEM kp.pem. So click on open, see. What does it say? That's an error message, unable to use key file. So make sure that whenever you're creating a key pair, if you're connecting through putty, then you try to download the putty key pair file. If you're not using putty, say for example, I don't have putty here, okay, it will not work, so I have to close it. So say for example, I don't have putty on my machine, but I want to connect to this instance. Now I cannot connect to this instance right now because I have this key pair, my first instance putty KP. So immediately if I want to show you something, let me stop this let me terminate this instance. Okay, I'm going to launch another instance real quick. So launch instance. Okay, my so scroll down, Amazon Linux, t2.micro. Now here I'm going to choose my first instance PEM KP. Okay, that's very important. And then here in edit, subnet, okay, these things are fine. And here select existing security to the previous one which we created, my website SG, storage 8 gig, just keep it safe, and that's it. Just click on launch instance. Now this instance will be launched. If you click on it, yeah, now it is in it will start with the pending mode. If you click on this, if you click on scroll down, you can see the key pair. So what is the key pair? My first instance PEM KP key pair. Okay, now let me show you the key pair for PEM. I'm going to the downloads folder. So this is the one which we have launched right now with this. Now if you right click on it, if you go to open with, then if you click on notepad, so it will tell you this key pair. See this? This is the PEM format. When I say PEM format, always it starts with some hyphen begin private key and it ends with the end private key. When you see this, it means that this is in PEM format. Okay, but this one, right? This one you cannot do that. If you click on open with, and then if you click on choose another app, and then if you click on more apps, and then click on something like notepad, you will get something else actually. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's connect. Yep, so this is the one which we are going to connect. Now how are you going to connect? That is the next thing. Okay, for this instance, what is the key pair we are talking about? The key pair is my first instance PEM KP, which is nothing but this one, my first instance PEM KP. Now let's do one thing. First let me try to connect, show you connecting through putty. Okay, so in this, let me go back. What's the IP? This is the IP, and then 22 SSH auth browse. Say for example, I am going for my first instance PEM KP, open, and then accept. See, it says unable to use key file. It will not accept. Even if you type ec2-user, it will not work. Okay, so how do you connect to this instance, considering that it was a PEM format file? We don't have a PPK file, we don't have a putty format file. Okay, so how do you do that? So how do you do that is, if you go to PowerShell, Windows PowerShell, if you go to run as administrator, yes, so you got a PowerShell here. Okay, now if you go back to your instance, if you click on connect, and then if you click on SSH client, and here itself there is a command which they are mentioning. So if you follow the same thing, it will work. So what we're going to do here is, first you need to go to your downloads folder. So which means here, this folder. So my downloads folder is here. Okay, let me go back to the PowerShell, and then cd cd present working directory, ls cd users, ls cd devop, let me open it, and then ls cd downloads, right? Yeah, downloads. Okay, inside this downloads we have ls minus lrt. Okay, oh, sometimes it doesn't work. ls, I'm a Linux guy, so bear with me. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this command, and then I'll just paste it here. Chmod 400. Okay, chmod is a Linux one, and not in Windows it will not work, but we do know that we have this my first instance. Okay, yeah, instance.pem file is there. If you can see, yeah, it is there. Okay, so what we will do is let's try to connect to this instance using this command, and then let's see what happens. Oh, sorry. Okay, right click, enter. Okay, it's saying something. So SSH-I is nothing but your key pair name, and then to which instance you're connecting. So EC2-user is the user ID at on this machine. Okay, what is this one? This one you can get it from here. So if you go here, if you click on this instance, and if you see the public IPv4 DNS, this is the one. It is there. If you see EC2 -54 blah 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 blah, the same thing, it will be there. So if you click yes, permanently added. Oh yeah, see, it's connected to Amazon Linux 2 AMI. That's it. Now, so you should be in a position where to use the PEM format and where to use the PPK format. This is the basics things which you need to be very aware of it. Okay, cool. Now what's next now? So I'm in, if you see this, my entire prompt is changed now. See this, it's changed to EC2-user, and this is a private IP 172.31.87.0. If you see 172.31.87.0, 172.31.87.0. So I'm connected to the instance right now using the PowerShell. Let me try something. I don't know, is it no, I'm not sure. I'm trying this from the Windows DOS prompt. Does this work, or I don't know, what's the command? dir? Yeah, dir cd downloads folder. Yeah, ls, I'm sorry, dir. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just trying, guys. Okay, connect, and then if you with this, I'm not sure whether it works or not, but whatever it is says, let's see, SSH-I. Oh, wow, it's working. So even from the DOS prompt also it's working. Okay, so from the DOS prompt it's working, from the PowerShell it's working. Let's try something else. So I've just exited out. Do I have git bash? Yes, I do have git bash. Let me try git bash. Where am I in git bash? Okay, I'm in downloads folder. Okay, here I'm going to type the same thing, SSH-I. This is a key pair file where I have, and this is the EC2-user at, I'm connecting to it, enter. Okay, perfect, cool. So various ways of connecting to the EC2 instance using the PEM key, and if you have a PPK key, then you have to have only using putty. But in earlier days, I want to tell you something. In earlier days, what happens was, if you go to the key pair option here, right? If you go to EC2, and then if you go to something called key pairs, and then here if you click on create key pair, so here we have two options, PEM and PPK. But in earlier, couple of years back, we had only PPK or PEM, I'm not sure, but we had only one. So what we normally do is, there is something called putty gen. Okay, so here we will load the PEM file. Say for example, this is, I'm going to the downloads folder here. Okay, and then I'm going for all files, and then I will look for the PEM file here. So the PEM file will be imported. Now, then I will change the save private key. Now this will be in the putty format. So so if you click on it, now what happens is, if you go to the downloads folder, it will be like this. See, my first instance convert, it will change to. So in the earlier days, that's what you can create a key pair with the PEM format, not with the PPK format. So this option was not there at all. This particular thing, PPK, was not there at all. You have to download only the PEM format, and then you have to convert the PEM format into the PPK format in order to connect to the putty. But now they are giving these two options. So now you know what is the purpose of this. So I've just shown you the demonstration. Even I learned that, I've never tried with DOS. Who uses DOS actually now? So that is good. Cool. So we have two key pairs and we have one instance running, which is good. And so if you see this instance, I can click on connect, and this is the SSH client. This one, session manager, will talk about it in the workshop. And EC2 instance connect, I tried connecting, and EC2 Serial Console, and you can try this as well. So this account is not authorized to use the EC2 Serial Console. Just click on manage access and just click on allow, and then click on update. This is also one way of doing the connecting. So click on EC2 again, click on instances, and then click on that, connect. Okay, see this. This instance type is not supported for the EC2 Serial Console. To connect to this instance using this EC2, the instance must be used an instance type that is built on the AWS Nitro system. So there are specific instance types where you can use the EC2 Serial Console. Okay, so say for example, if you want to see what are the instance types we are supporting, just click on this one, instance types. Scroll down, available instance types. Okay, so we have a lot of instance types. I'm going to go with M5. Okay, M5, let's see what happens. Yeah, so going to this instance, what is my current instance type, which is t2.micro, which is the free tier. Okay, now if you want to change the instance type, the running instance type, okay, you cannot change the running instance type. You can see the change instance type is grayed out. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop the instance. Yeah, so stop the instance, click on stop. It is in stopping process, and after a couple of seconds it will go to the stopped mode. Okay, now if you see it's became the stop mode. Okay, now if you click on this, now let's go to actions, and then instance settings, and then change instance type. Click on this. Now I'm going to choose M5. Yeah, M5. Yeah, M5. So I'm going to choose M5.large. Okay, and then click on apply. So when you hit on apply, the instance type is changed to M5.large. Now if you click on instance and then start instance, anyways I will be charged, but I'm not going to run it for more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I want to show you that using the EC2 Serial Console you can connect it. So it's in pending, now it is in running. If you scroll right a little bit, okay, everything is fine, running, but there is the status check is hyphen. That should not be the case. So let me refresh its screen. Yes, see, it is in initializing mode, which means that the booting process and other things are still happening. If you go to status checks on the left side, it is still in initializing. Okay, so we need to wait for a couple of more seconds. Okay, now if you see the status check is passed and status checks, yes, everything is good. Now let's click on connect. Okay, now EC2 Serial Console, click on connect. Okay, see, I think it's working. So again, what the lesson what we learned was in order to connect to the EC2 serial console, we need to have a specific instance types. Only through that instance type we can connect using that the EC2 serial console option. Okay, cool. And okay, what's happening? Is it connected or is it still doing something? Alice. Oh, okay. It's asking for the password. I think it is connected. IP login ec2-user. Okay, one moment. So why the EC2 serial console? It should EC2 serial console password. Let's see what is that. Configuring access to okay. I think EC2 serial console needs to be configured then. Configure access. You must grant serial console. Okay. Put a password based on every instance so the users can use the serial console for troubleshooting. Okay. Manage your root account. Grant permission for me to manage account access. Okay. Really, you need to grant them the required permission. The following policy grant permission to view the account to allow view account access. Okay. Okay. Account active. Choose from account. Choose easy to will indicate the account is allowed. Okay. This is done. Okay. To view account as a serial console. Okay. Grant access to this serial console. Manage. Allow. Okay. Configuring policies for EC2. By default, IAM users do not have. Okay, here we go. By default, your IAM users do not have access to the serial. Your organization must configure to grant your IAM users the required access. For more information, creating volume policy. For create a JSON policy. Okay, this action grants an IAM user to push the public key to the serial console service, which starts a serial console session. This is specific. Otherwise, all IAM users. Okay, okay. Exploiting deny. Okay, you can connect to it without a pass. However, to use the serial console troubleshooting, the instance must have a password-based OS user. You can set the password for any OS user, including the root user. Note that the root user can modify all files, while each OS user might have limit. You must set a user password for every instance for which you will use the serial. This is a one-time requirement for each instance. Wow. You can use any method for connecting except the EC2. Okay, I think if we follow this option, it should work. So let's try that. Yeah, there is nothing wrong in trying. So what they are saying is connect your instance. You can use any method for connecting to your EC2 instance except the EC2 serial. So we are not going to use EC2 serial. We're going to try EC2 instance connect for now. So just click on connect. And then okay, EC2 instance will be connected. Okay, now what we're gonna do here is scroll down. Okay, so to set the password for user, use the password command. In the following example, the user is root. Okay, so let's do this. Sudo password root. Okay, changing password for user root. The following example, at the new password, enter the new password. So I'm going to give some password here. It is updated successfully. Okay, cool. Next, to connect to the EC2 serial console. Click on it. So you can connect to the serial console of your EC by using the Amazon EC2 console, blah blah. You can use it. Okay. Only one active serial console is supported per instance. The serial console connect typically lasts for 1 hour unless you terminate it. Okay, it takes 30 seconds to trade after you disconnect from the serial console. Supported serial console port of Linux. Okay, when you connect, supported all okay, those things are fine. Oh, yep. Choosing connect to the other browser based connect. Okay, here we go. Connect EC2. Enter. If a login prompts, okay, see this. This is what our thing starts. Choose instance, actions, connect EC2 serial console. Press enter. If a login prompt returns, you're connected to the serial console. If the screen remains, you can use the following tutorial. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is, let's close this. I'm gonna go to EC2 serial console. Click on connect. Let's see what happens. Establishing connection. Okay, so let's go back. So what it says is, if a login prompt returns, you are connected to the serial. If the screen remains black, which is our case, you can use the following information to help resolve issues. Check that you configured access to the serial console. Use sysrec, restart Getty, then connect to instance. Reboot your instance by using, okay, the login, enter the username password base that you set up previously. Okay, I think this one also we can try. Okay, let's do something. Okay, it's asking for the login, so I'm going to click root, and I have set up the password before. Okay, it's working, guys. So which step it worked, I'll tell you. So if you scroll up, the step it worked was, if you click on this configure access to the EC2 Serial Console, if you scroll down, so I set up the password for the root. And if you want to set up the password for something else, say for example, okay, let's try that as well. So I want to exit out from the EC2 Serial Console. Okay, now I'm going to connect to EC2 Instance Connect. Click on Connect. Okay, cool. Now here, what I'm going to do, sudo passwd. I want to type ec2-user. I'm going to change the password for the ec2-user. Let's see whether it accepts or not. Okay, it's asking to set up a new password, which I am going to set up. Okay, it updated successfully. So I want to exit out. Done. Now I'm going to log in to EC2 Serial Console. So in order to connect to the EC2 Serial Console, we need username and we need a password. But for others, we need a key pair. So that is the thing. Okay, now again it's a black screen. So just click on enter, login. So now I'm typing ec2-user. And then I'm going to type the password which I set it up. Hooray, it's working. So it's a good learning for me as well. I never explored the EC2 Serial Console, I'm being honest with you, but now we have successfully done it. So these are all the various ways of communicating with the instances actually. So I want to take a break. Currently it's almost 51 or 52 minutes since we started this. So whatever we have covered, you guys can try. Okay, before that, what I'm going to do is I have to stop the instance and change the instance type, else I will be charged m5.large. So I'm going to stop the instance now. So once you stop, it will go to the stopping mode, and then it will become stopped in a couple of seconds. Okay, so now it became stop mode. Just click on it, go to actions, and go to instance settings and change instance type, and then you can change it back to t2.xlarge, or sorry, t2.micro. t2.micro. Yeah, t2.micro we have. Yes, so when you charge it, then I would be saved. Perfect. Cool, guys. So what we have learned creating an instance, and then how to connect to the instance using the PEM and PPK, and also like EC2 Serial Console and EC2 Connect, and then other various ways of connecting it. And also we have seen a couple of things as well. Say for example, the main thing is the other one, where is it? Configure access. So yeah, this one. So this one, just remember guys, when you're trying with the EC2 Serial Console, you need to set the user password. That is very important. So only then the Serial Console will work. And then if you go to the connect to the Serial Console, yes, so this is what it happens. Connect, reboot, blah, 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 blah. And then terminate an EC2 Serial Console session. So you can just close the Serial Console, that's fine. Okay guys, so let's take a break of a couple of minutes, then we will come back and join in next. So in next, what we are going to do is we're gonna launch an instance, but before that, we're gonna set up some VPC. Maybe I'll explain you in this video itself. So let me show you. Here we go. Okay. So I'm in. Click on VPC here. Click on VPC. Okay, so here there is a VPC ID. Now in this VPC ID, what happens is if you click on subnets on the left side, so we have only one VPC. In this one VPC, we have around 6 subnets we have. Okay, and in these 6 subnets, every subnet will having a IPv4 available IPv4 address of 4091, and the CIDR range is /20. Okay, and this is spanning different availability zones. We have 6 AZs: 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F. Okay, so these many availability zones, 6 AZs are there, and we are using one route table and then one NACL is there. So this is a default setup. Now if you click on, say for example, the first one, I'm clicking on the first subnet. Click on the first subnet. Now if you see this, it says available, okay, and then scroll down and it is connected to this route table, and this is a VPC and this is the NACL. Well, if you guys wondering, Samir, what is this and all, then I would definitely suggest you to have a complete basics on what is route table or what is VPC or what is NACL in my previous videos. For now, for this workshop, in the next video I will quickly kickstart, and then we will talk about it. But maybe when I'm explaining hands-on or practical, you will definitely understand for sure. Okay, cool. Now if we click on route table, we got a route table, we got NACL, and if you click on route tables on the left side, so you got this internet gateways. Okay, no problem. We'll start from the next video, and then we will jump into the practicals as well. So thank you. Take a nice break and then come back and join with me. Thank you.